I'm going to tell you two instances in the last 24 hours where the anti-gunners have been put on their heels when groups that they least expected have come out against them. And I'm talking about two of the most anti-gun states in the Union as well, which makes it even that much bigger. The first one I'm going to tell you about is a brief that came out today in the California handgun roster lawsuit. That's a California Rifle and Pistol Association case. And in this case, one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest, law enforcement group in the state has come out saying that California's handgun roster is unconstitutional and actually keeps safer guns out of the hands of Californians. It's pretty cool, and this also could affect the Massachusetts handgun roster case that we just learned has been scheduled for oral arguments. It's been appealed to the U.S. Court of Appeals First Circuit, and that will be April 4th of 2023. So what's just happened in California could affect states that have handgun rosters, and Massachusetts is also being challenged as well. And then I'm going to tell you about how the New York State Senate and what they did with an amicus brief coming out against the gun control in New York. It's been a crazy 24 hours, guys. Let me tell you what's going on. I think you're going to dig this. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you think the Second Amendment is more important than thoughts and feelings, then subscribe to this channel down below. Like the video, share it. That's the way people get to see it, because the YouTube anti-algorithm is real. And also check your subscriptions. If you're subscribed, double check, because people are telling me they're being removed. Here is the first page of today's filing in California, and this is really good. And like I said, this is the case that's challenging California's Unsafe Handgun Act. Let's jump onto page 2 here. This is the declaration of Brian Marvel, who is the president of Peace Officers Research Association of California, otherwise known as PORAC. Now, PORAC represents, you can see in paragraph 2, 77,000 law enforcement and public safety professionals in California. It's the largest law enforcement organization in California and the largest statewide association in the nation. Let's jump down to number 4. He says, I am submitting this declaration because California's Unsafe Handgun Act is out of step with PORAC's values. PORAC believes that the relationship between law enforcement and society is critical, and laws that unjustifiably privilege law enforcement over the average citizen are bad for the relationship between law enforcement and the communities they police. Additionally, the UHA's rules simply make no sense from a law enforcement perspective. The UHA, which is the Unsafe Handgun Act, the UHA has little impact on individuals who commit crimes with firearms, which are usually stolen. Its microstamping provision is a fool's errand. Even if it worked, microstamping would not assist the apprehension of a criminal who used stolen firearms, and we can already match registered owners to guns used in a crime through ballistics. As to the other required features, the magazine safety disconnect and the chamber load indicator, they add nothing noticeably to the overall safety of a firearm. If they did, PORAC would be demanding agencies issue their members firearms with those features. Most agencies issue officers the latest models of either the Glock or Sig Sauer handguns, which lack magazine safety disconnects, loaded chamber indicators, and of course microstamping. It then goes on to say that the firearms issued to law enforcement are not unsafe, so why would this law make it or deem them unsafe for the average citizen, who oftentimes trains more than most law enforcement officers, let's be honest. Let's go to paragraph 7 where it says, ironically, the UHA purports to ban unsafe handguns, but actually bars newer, improved, and safer generations of handguns already on the roster. For example, many officers are issued 4th or 5th generation Glock pistols, which are off roster and lack magazine safety disconnects, loaded chamber indicators, and of course microstamping. Indeed, the size and functionality of the different generation models is essentially the same. Thus, the newest generation of Glock handguns are deemed unsafe for the public, but safe enough to protect our peace officers and for them to protect members of the public. Number 8, moreover, citizens have a constitutional right to be armed for self-defense. Self-defense is one of the inalienable rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the state. Thus, the Second Amendment is an important part of American life for both law enforcement officers and members of the public. Armed citizens do for themselves what law enforcement cannot always be there to do. So this is really good. You have law enforcement actually coming out saying, hey, this is BS. Now, let's be real, because this affects their off-duty personnel as well, but they're finally coming out saying, hey, this UHA isn't doing what it's supposed to, and it's arbitrary at best. So hopefully this will be used to destroy the handgun roster. And like I said, Massachusetts handgun roster case has been scheduled for April 4th in the First Circuit Court of Appeals. So I will keep you up to date on both of those. And now let's go to New York, where their state Senate has come out against their unconstitutional gun control in an amicus brief, and it's pretty cool. Now here is the amicus brief by the New York State Senate Minority Leader and several other members of the New York State Senate. Now this is not all of the members of the New York State Senate. This is obviously those that aren't for the CCIA, the Concealed Carry Improvement Act, that is being challenged by gun owners of America under the Ivan Antonyuk case. And I'm going to show you real quick the table of contents here, which tells you what this is looking to do. And it says, the CCIA, or the Concealed Carry Improvement Act in New York, is nothing more than an attempt to reverse the United States Supreme Court's recent decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, and to abridge constitutionally guaranteed rights. So that's big too. Now you have a case where state senators are saying our laws are unconstitutional. So even if you have a judge that was so liberal, ignored all of the obvious facts that have been unfurled in the Antonyuk case up until now, and then you add on the state senate's telling you, hey, judge, our stuff's unconstitutional. Even if the judge ruled that the Concealed Carry Improvement Act was lawful, this makes it very easy for the Supreme Court to pick apart, because now you say, judge, this is so bad, even the state senate members have come out and said it's unconstitutional, and that is huge. That is a big, big move by the New York State Senate members who have done this, and it's also a big move by PORAC in California saying, hey, judge, our laws in California are unconstitutional related to the handgun roster. This is big stuff, guys and gals. A lot of this has been happening since Bruin, and even more specifically, we've had a couple cases where they mention specific carve-outs in law for law enforcement and how it's not equal protection. And my hope is that law enforcement is starting to see the big picture, but we'll see where that plays out. If you want to stay up to date on some of these huge cases, you're going to want to subscribe. There's a lot of big cases coming in the next 25 to 50 days where we're going to start hearing some things from maybe Judge Benitez. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you in the loop. And again, to everybody who voted for me in the Gundies, thank you for doing that. It allowed me to be here in Uvalde, Texas. And tomorrow's a ceremony, so we'll see what happens. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. That's what it's for. Our Second Amendment's not going anywhere. And it doesn't matter what the anti-gunners think, or no matter how liberal a judge can get. They're not going anywhere. They're not big enough, bad enough, or mean enough to take it from us, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.